Saturday night, Brian is slammed behind the bar. Rings in an order for pepperoni pizza, cheese only. Yes, we knew exactly what that meant. I stopped my pizza cook before he ladled the sauce onto the pizza. It says cheese only. What if they're allergic to tomatoes? Hello guys, welcome to EmKay, the finest Reddit readings south of the equator, and in today's video we'll be heading back to r/Maliciouscompliance, which you guys seem to have liked so far, so yeah, let's get into it. This didn't happen to me, but to my dad, and it's one of my favourite stories he tells. Some years ago, by which I mean 2 or so decades roughly, my dad was at a several-day course to earn some additional qualifications for his job. On the final day, there was going to be a multiple-choice test to actually pass the seminar. On test day, everyone got settled into place, and the teacher announced that he would not go easy on cheaters. You had one strike to be caught trying to copy off someone else or use a cheat sheet, but if you were caught a second time, you would be immediately thrown out and your score would be made invalid. Now, this teacher was very old school strict, and treated grown working people like unruly school children, and my dad does not like that very much. So my dad proceeds to take the test, and it goes pretty well. When he's through with the questions, there is just one left, when he's not sure he got it right. And he has a free strike after all. So my dad yells out into the class, just calls out, "What's the answer to question 14? And some complete bro elsewhere in the room yells the answer back. And my dad fills in this sheet, gets up, walks to the teacher's desk, presumably tries not to trip on the teacher's drawer as it lies on the floor, hands in his test, and leaves the room. Well, to the teacher's credit, he approached my dad afterwards with some begrudging respect. I don't know if he changed his policy afterwards, or the tone in which he conveyed it, but yeah. Alright, so one day at Tinker AFB, I got told to go and clean the smoke pit, smoking area. This is unusual because I am a non-smoker and it's not a mess which I contribute to in any fashion. Out of the squadron of about 1,000 people, I'm one of maybe 50 that doesn't use any sort of tobacco. No smoking, no dipping, and vaping wasn't allowed back in 2009/10. This Master Sergeant, one of the flight chiefs, came into the office and she tells me to go clean it. I'm reading a TO because I want to learn my aircraft, and I haven't done crap today. And nothing that would warrant me having to do that task again. Literally not my mess. The 50 of us that didn't smoke never had to clean it. For you non-military people, a Master Sergeant is senior enlisted. Been in for a minimum of 10 to 12 years. Edit for anyone wondering, a TO is a technical order, not only the instructions for nearly every possible repair on the aircraft, but also legal orders that maintainers are required to follow to the letter. I look over to my sergeant and just tell him, do you want to tell them? He nods and goes to talk with the flight chiefs. He's a non-smoker too, and was also a pretty poo-hot dude, so he comes back in about 2 minutes later. Okay, come on, let's go clean up the smoke pit. Well, crap, at least I won't be alone. Now, me and Staff Sergeant H get out to the smoke pit with brooms and dustpans, and there are weeks of butts piled in and around the cans. Lots of work, would take forever, even with the big push brooms we've gotten to do this. I turn to Sergeant H and sigh resignedly, "Hey, do we have a pressure washer?" Sergeant H nods and walks off. I get started. Sergeant H comes back with the pressure washer and we start it up, and take it to the floor of the smoke pit. Immediately, a spray of brown tar water shoots up off the ground from the washer. The floor, once a uniform mottled brown to black even coating, is revealed as being pure light grey cement, the colour of freshly poured cement. This floor had never been painted. This was years, if not decades of tar and smoke we were washing away. The one little floor drain in the smoke pit cannot keep up with this. The smoke pit was walled in on 2 sides, and on the open 2 sides you step down into it. Tables and ash cans were the decoration, as well as some of the Reagan-era posters about the expansion of USAF. We begin to flood the pit because the poor little shower drain in the floor just can't keep up with the volume from the pressure washer. We take it nice and slow, but now we've learned how dirty it all is. Pressure washing inch by inch, step by step. The flood of cigarette butts accumulate at the drain, and we're scooping them up with the dustpan and depositing them in trash bags. By this point, we've emptied the pit. After about 30 minutes of this, the flight chiefs come out to have a smoke, and they stare at this nasty swamp we've made of the smoke pit. Their faces fall, and smokes go back into the pocket. They don't say anything, they just go back inside, defeated that their orders prevented them from grabbing a smoke. The smokers would have just swept half-heartedly and emptied the cans. Non-smokers that got screwed? Pressure wash. I have quite a few malicious compliance stories from working as a chef for many years now, so I'll throw a couple of them at you guys. 1. A guy who added mushrooms to his salmon BLT. So this guy would always add mushrooms, and we don't have an add mushroom option on the menu, but yeah, we have mushrooms in the house, so yes, we can technically do it. I'm familiar with the guy, he comes in for lunch usually. My AM sous chef is much more compassionate than I am. Also, she does half the amount of food sales for lunch than what I pull in a dinner shift. She usually sautés the mushrooms for his sandwich. Homeboy comes in during the middle of a slam dinner rush for his bacon/mushroom BLT. My restaurant serves food to the dining room in the bar, basically another dining room which is connected to the same building, and a concert venue that is connected through the backside, but operates as a separate entity. I have 50 plus tickets on fire, and I see him at the counter, and I heard him say it. Yes, I'll have one salmon BLT, and can I add mushrooms on that? Sure, that'll be no problem. I put raw sliced mushrooms on a sandwich. He never specified that he wanted cooked mushrooms. I usually am not this thick-headed, but when I'm trying to focus on literally 50 other things, sautéing your stupid mushrooms is detracting from the food quality of 50 other people whose dishes require equal attention. It's not fair to them. I now prep a small handful of sautéed mushrooms beforehand for when this guy comes in. He also specifies cooked mushrooms. Number 2. Burned bacon arsehole. Different customer, same sandwich. That stupid salmon BLT. So this guy came in and ordered the salmon BLT, extra crispy bacon. So I throw a couple pieces of bacon in the fryer. They are crisped to perfection. Send the sandwich out, move on. Couple minutes later, the waitress comes back holding the BLT. He said the bacon wasn't crispy enough. I'm like, alright. The health department policy is that I'm not allowed to touch food that's been handled by customers, so I proceed to make him an entirely new sandwich. This time I take a little more care in ensuring the bacon is in fact very crispy. Well, this butthole sends it back again, and I've had enough of this crap. I take 2 pieces of bacon, put them in a pan, and throw them under the salamander. Basically like a broiler for you non-restaurant folk. Left it under there till I smelled something burning. I didn't know this, but if you heat bacon past 500 degrees, it becomes kind of like a liquid. I tilted the pan, poured this blackish sludge on his sandwich. When it touched the rest of the sandwich, the sludge sort of seized up and became crispy, kind of similar to charcoal. I sent out the 3rd sandwich, and to my disbelief, he ate it. He had quite the sour look on his face. Maybe he was too embarrassed to request sandwich number 4. Number 3, the pizza with only cheese. This story is more about a butthole bar manager, but it wasn't really the customer's fault. So first I need to explain that the restaurant owner had this crappy, greedy idea that they would remove the cheese pizza from the menu. The cheese pizza was our cheapest pizza on the menu behind the pepperoni. The idea was that now, if somebody wants to order a cheese pizza, they have to order a pepperoni pizza without pepperoni. Also, they still pay the full price for the pepperoni pizza. Now I'll explain the bar manager, Brian. Brian is a giant hipster. Square, black-rimmed glasses, greasy comb-over, sleeves of crappy tattoos, gauged earlobes, etc. We've had our many conflicts in the past. He berated one of my younger cooks for messing up this guy's custom salad order once. I usually don't let someone discipline my cooking staff, but this happened when I was at home. I heard about it later. There's something about, you guys need to read your tickets more carefully and do exactly as I say. Oh yeah? Okay, we can do that. Saturday night, Brian is slammed behind the bar. Rings in an order for pepperoni pizza, cheese only. Yes, we knew exactly what that meant. I stopped my pizza cook before he ladled the sauce onto the pizza. It says cheese only. What if they're allergic to tomatoes? The pizza goes out. Brian comes back fuming. Oh, you guys think this is real freaking funny, hey? All my cooks are cracking up. Me, firmly. You need to be more specific when you ring in your tickets, lest we do exactly as they say. And another thing, if you ever yell at one of my cooks, I'll freaking cut you. I pointed my 10-inch chef knife at him. Brian retweets, brilliant. Brian retreats back to the bar, all while yelling about how HR was going to hear about this. Yeah, that crap almost got me fired, but I plan on leaving that job pretty soon anyway. In the end, no disciplinary action was taken over the pizza misconception, but I received a write-up for threatening a staff member. I spent my last few months there making Brian's life a living hell. I hear he got fired a few years ago. Not now, but actually almost 20 years ago when I was in 8th grade. My history teacher, whom I'll call Mr. Bojangles here, assigned us a group, about 5 people each, project where we had to make a film we all had to be in and that we would present to the class. 2 of the people in my group expressed they were uncomfortable being on film and even more uncomfortable with that film being on display to the class. They proposed, and the other 3 of us in the group agreed, to Mr. Bojangles that they take part off camera and we find volunteers to stand and perform their parts. Again, we were fine with this and respected their discomfort. Even if we didn't understand it, he practically laughed in our faces and rejected it. I was never a particularly agreeable kid, and since they didn't want to fail, I wanted to at least make something he wouldn't show. We knew we would get in trouble for any number of age-inappropriate things, so we had to be creative about it. Now, a while back, Mr. Bojangles had been asked what part of town he lived in, and he refused to say. Someone just said his name was uncommon enough, and we should look him up in the phone book. He said they'd never find him because he's listed under an alias. I distinctly remembered how he said it, like he was super clever. The dude's an idiot, so I looked him up and found him under alias Bojangles. So one Saturday morning, bright and early, camera running, my group knocked on his door, and he answered in a bathrobe and saw the camera, and it told us to leave him alone. We then waited until a school day and skipped school so we could film in his front yard undisturbed. Being the gutsiest, dumbest one in the group, I volunteered to hand him the tape. I smiled at him as I did it and told him that it's really good and we worked super hard and he's gonna love it. He watched it before he showed it to the class and opted not to show it. Fine, perfect. Except he took it a step further. He failed the group and tried to get me expelled. They called my mum in to discuss and he said that we'd broken the rules. She asked how we had broken the rules since it sounded like the film met all the parameters given. He said we hadn't shown it to the class. My mum, who already knew the game, feigned shock and asked if it had been our decision. It hadn't. She asked if there had been any nudity or profanity. There hadn't. Once Bojangles finally said that we'd filmed it in his yard, she asked how we got his address, and noted that it's pretty inappropriate to give students his address. I told her, he told us exactly what to look for in the phone book to find him. Mr. Bojangles conceded to have the other history teacher, whose class had the same assignment, to grade it, as long as I promised to never show up at his house again. Duh, dude, making a point. Our group got an A, for alias, I assume. Okay, so I was an aircraft mechanic in the US Air Force, and I was a flight line guy. One day we had to drive the launch truck across base, using the roads. Launch trucks are these blue cargo trucks/vans with a large box on the back where up to 18 people can sit. There are 2 benches along the walls with no seatbelts, and hard metal, plywood all around, and toolboxes of varying sizes. And driving on the military base, you go the posted speed limit, no faster, especially in a military vehicle, because those are orders. Anyway, I had my flightline driving license, so I'm the one driving the 7 of us or so across the base, and the highest ranking guy, a senior airman, 3 stripes, E4, SRA, is riding shotgun with me. He gets to have the AC because he's the highest ranking. I'm driving about 20 miles per hour with a posted speed limit of 25. I know that these trucks suck as a passenger when you're going that fast, and I'm taking corners super slowly on a windy road, maybe 12 or 15 miles per hour. SRA, geez man, you drive like my grandmother, drive a little faster, and for God's sake don't take corners so slow. Yes sir, I had 1 or 2 stripes on my arm, I was outranked, the precise number didn't matter. Okay, cool. And then me, seeing the next corner come up, take it at 25 miles per hour, sharply. All 5 in the back get thrown to the other side of the truck, toolboxes crash, it's a general pandemonium back there. Everyone okay? Everyone sounds off, they're all okay. Jesus Christ man, what the hell? You ordered me not to drive slow and careful, sir. I was joking, and I've been written up for thinking people were joking before. SRA is silent for the rest of the trip. Last summer, I worked as an ice cream vendor on the beach of my hometown. Best job I ever had. People were nice to me, I got to work in my tan, it paid pretty well, but most importantly, we were allowed to eat the delicious ice cream in our breaks. One day, I'm serving a man and his son. The man orders a cone with 2 scoops for him and a cone with 1 scoop for the little one. The kid wasn't happy about that and said to his dad that he also wanted 2 scoops. The dad explains that the scoops were pretty big and 1 will suffice for him. I confirm this to help the dad, even offering to make it extra big. Still, the kid doesn't budge. Instead, he starts throwing a tantrum, nearly crying about how he wanted 2 scoops. The dad, clearly not wanting to ruin his vacation mood, gives up and says the kid can have 2 scoops. However, he adds, if you can't finish your ice cream like I said you wouldn't, no more TV for you for the rest of the vacation. The kid happily agrees, claiming he could eat a whole tub of ice cream. Big mistake, kid. Me, being the petty person that I am, wanted to teach this brat a lesson. I proceed by scooping one of the most gigantic scoops I've ever scooped in my entire scooping career. I put it on the comb, and the kid's eyes widen in shock. My scoop goes back for more. I see the kid tremble in disbelief. I scoop the second most gigantic scoop a scooper could scoop, and graciously add it to the first one. I hand the monstrosity I've created to the kid, who by now realizes that he won't watch TV again this summer. The dad seemed pretty cool with it. He even tipped me a little, which was very rare. All in all, a pretty good day. And there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that video, and if you did, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, all that. And if there's any other subreddits you think I should cover, be sure to comment them down below so I know what you guys want. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed. If you like this, then be sure to go check out my main channel. I think you'll like that too. The link's in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!